Imagine a city on the brink of chaos. The summer sun beats down on the cobblestone streets of Paris, where fear, anger, and hope swirl in the air. It's July 14th, 1789, and the people of France are hungry, not just for bread, for change. The old order is crumbling, and a single fortress stands as the symbol of everything they want to overthrow. That fortress is the Bastille. Little do they know, today will mark the beginning of a revolution that will reshape not just France, the entire world. The following images in this video have been altered and generated using AI technology. They are not exact replicas of historical events or people, but are used to provide a visual representation of what the events may have looked like. These images are intended solely for illustrative purposes, to help bring the story to life. The storming of the Bastille didn't just happen overnight. France was a powder keg ready to explode. The country was in financial ruin, the monarchy was disconnected from the struggles of everyday people, and famine had pushed the population to the brink. King Louis XVI, oblivious to the plight of his people, continued to live in luxury, while the citizens of Paris starved. The Estates General, convened earlier that year, had only deepened the divide between the classes. The Third Estate, representing the common people, found itself increasingly at odds with the privileged First and Second Estates. The Bastille wasn't just any prison. It was a symbol of the absolute power held by the monarchy. Originally built as a fortress, it had become a state prison where enemies of the crown were held, often without trial. For the people of Paris, the Bastille represented everything that was wrong with the old regime: oppression, fear, and unaccountable authority. With rumors spreading that the king was planning to crush the revolutionary movement, the citizens knew they had to act, and the Bastille became their target. On the morning of July 14th, tension in Paris was palpable. A mob of Parisians, spurred on by revolutionary fervor and the need for weapons, began to gather around the Bastille. Armed with muskets, pikes, and whatever they could find, crowds swelled to over 1,000 people. They demanded the surrender of the Bastille and the release of the prisoners inside. The governor of the Bastille, Bernard-René de Launay, initially attempted to negotiate, but refused to capitulate fully. People were done with negotiations. As the crowd grew more restless, the situation spiraled out of control. Full-scale assault began around midday. The attackers used makeshift bridges to cross the moat and launched a relentless barrage of gunfire at the fortress. Defenders, outnumbered and unprepared for a siege, began to waver. After hours of intense fighting, Launay realized he could not hold the Bastille any longer. He ordered a ceasefire, and the gates were opened. Crowds surged in, capturing the Bastille and its small garrison. Fall of the Bastille was both a physical and symbolic victory. Prison held only 7 prisoners at the time, but the act of tearing down the fortress brick by brick became a powerful symbol of the people's victory over tyranny. Launay was captured, beaten, and eventually killed by the mob, a grim reminder of the people's wrath. The news of the Bastille's fall spread like wildfire across France. The storming of the Bastille was the spark that ignited the French Revolution. It sent a clear message: people would no longer tolerate the abuses of the monarchy. The revolutionaries seized control of Paris, and soon the rest of France would follow. King Louis XVI, upon hearing of the Bastille's fall, reportedly asked, "Is it a revolt?" To which he was answered, "No, sire, it is a revolution." The fall of the Bastille marked the beginning of the end for the French monarchy. The events of July 14th would lead to the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, the rise of the National Assembly, and ultimately the execution of Louis XVI. The storming of the Bastille showed the world that the power of the people could topple even the most entrenched systems of power. Today, July 14th is celebrated as Bastille Day, the national holiday of France. It commemorates not just the storming of the Bastille, but the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity that the French Revolution brought to life. The storming of the Bastille has become a symbol of the fight against oppression and the birth of a nation built on the principles of democracy. As we look back on the storming of the Bastille, it's clear that this was more than just the fall of a fortress. It was the rise of a movement that would change the world forever. The echoes of that day in 1789 still resonate today, as a reminder that the power of the people can shape the course of history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the past. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to explore more pivotal moments in history.